in the age of smoke and sorrow, where the streets whispered of hunger and hope, amid the shadows of a merciless city, one small voice dared to ask for more. This is the story of innocence lost and hope reborn. Oliver Twist. In the heart of a forgotten town, under a sky heavy with rain and sorrow, a child was born inside the cold stone walls of a workhouse. His mother, pale and trembling, whispered only one word before the silence took her: Oliver. From the moment he drew breath, the world seemed to turn its back on him. No family, no warmth, only hunger, discipline, and the sound of church bells echoing through emptiness. The workhouse was a place where childhood was stolen. Rows of small boys sat at long tables, eating thin soup and dreaming of bread. Among them sat Oliver Twist, his blue eyes filled with quiet hope. One day, when the hunger was too strong to bear, he stood up and spoke. "Please, sir," he said softly, "I want some more." The room froze. The words echoed like a sin. For daring to ask for more, Oliver was cast out, punished for wanting what every child deserved: mercy. Alone and starving, Oliver wandered for days through the muddy countryside. The sun burned his face by day, the cold bit his skin by night, but still he walked toward a city he had only heard of: London, the land of endless chimneys and crowded hearts. Every step carried him farther from cruelty, yet closer to another kind of darkness. London, loud, filthy, alive. Smoke rolled through the alleys, and strangers brushed past without a glance. There, in the chaos, a boy in a worn top hat appeared. "You look lost," he said with a grin. His name was Jack Dawkins. The artful dodger, he offered Oliver a piece of bread, a smile, and the illusion of friendship. That night, Oliver followed him through the maze of streets, unaware he was walking into the hands of fate. Beneath the roofs of London's shadows, they entered a place filled with stolen goods and laughter. There sat Fagin, an old man with wicked eyes and trembling hands. Around him, a dozen boys moved like ghosts, picking pockets, polishing silver, and counting coins. "You'll earn your keep, my dear," said Fagin. "We all must, in our own way." Oliver, innocent and afraid, nodded, too naive to see the trap that had already closed around him. Days passed in strange comfort. The boys laughed, sang, and trained in the art of deception, until one morning they went to the market. "Watch and learn," said the dodger, as his nimble fingers danced into a gentleman's pocket. But when the man turned, Oliver stood frozen with fear. "Thief!" cried the crowd. Hands grabbed him, pulling him through the mud. Beaten, bleeding, and terrified, the boy who had stolen nothing was thrown before the magistrate. But fate, at last, showed mercy. The gentleman whose purse had been stolen, Mr. Brownlow, saw something in the child's eyes. Not guilt, but innocence. He took Oliver to his home, washed his wounds, and gave him food and warmth. For the first time in his short life, Oliver slept without fear. And in his dreams, he saw his mother's face smiling, as if to say, "You are safe now, my son." Peace rarely lasts for those born in misery. In the damp corners of the city, Fagin whispered Oliver's name. "Find him," he told Bill Sykes, a cruel man with blood in his eyes. "He knows too much." And so the hunt began. One night, as Oliver carried a book through the quiet streets, shadows closed around him. A hand seized him, and in an instant he was gone, stolen back into darkness. Among Fagin's thieves lived a young woman named Nancy, once innocent, now broken by the life she could never escape. She looked at Oliver, fragile, trembling, and something inside her stirred. "He doesn't belong here," she whispered. She risked everything to save him. But in the world of thieves, kindness was treason. and treason had a price. Nancy met secretly with Mr. Brownlow, revealing where Oliver was held. Her voice shook as she begged him, "Save the boy, promise me you'll save him." But Fagin's spies were everywhere. When Bill Sikes learned of her betrayal, his rage was merciless. London's fog swallowed her cries that night. By morning, the Thames ran quiet, and Nancy's kindness was gone. Word spread of the crime, and justice moved swiftly. Bill Sikes fled through the city, hunted by the police, haunted by guilt. Fagin's den was raided, his stolen treasures scattered like ashes. In his cell, the old man muttered to himself, clutching the empty air as if counting coins that no longer existed. Evil, it seemed, had finally stolen from itself. Mr. Brownlow took Oliver into his care once more. In time, the truth was uncovered that Oliver was not a nameless orphan, but the lost son of a good family. Monks, a bitter man consumed by greed, had hidden the truth to steal Oliver's inheritance. But justice, slow and patient, revealed all. The sins of the fathers had come to light, and the boy at last was free. Seasons changed. The streets of London grew bright with spring. In a quiet garden, Oliver walked beside Mr. Brownlow, his heart light for the first time. He had known hunger, cruelty, and betrayal, yet he still believed in kindness. For every shadow he had faced, a single act of love had guided him home. And so ends the story of Oliver Twist, the boy who asked for more and found far greater than he ever dreamed. Not gold, not comfort, but belonging. In every city, in every age, there are children like Oliver, forgotten, unseen, but waiting for someone to say, "You deserve more." And perhaps that is what makes this story eternal. Not the tragedy, but the hope that survives it.